Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Tina's Kitchen, where today I'm inviting you over to help me make something we've already made. However, we're exploring a different version of it. And we're gonna be creating two really beautiful circular round gatas. Now the gata is gonna be made from scratch, meaning we're gonna make the dough, we're gonna make the filling, and we're gonna wrap it up into this amazing goodness that gata is. However, we are making two different versions. Our first version is going to be that normal round gata, no muss, no fuss, and we're going to bake that. And our second one, I was able to find this really great recipe on this cooking channel that I'm following recently. She's an Armenian chef. She has really great content. Her name is Heghine. And I stumbled upon this really beautiful circular gata that she made, and you know, around the holidays, it's just gonna be such a great little, addition to your tablescape. It has really intricate details around the edges. It's just a different version and a different way of making it. Really excited about sharing that with you guys and recreating her recipe, which I'll link below, because we have quite a few things we're gonna need, including that amazing brandy or cognac for our filling to give it that additional hint of amazingness. Instead of sugar, we're gonna substitute it with honey, which is also gonna give us that really golden, pretty color for the dough. And of course, you need your vanilla extract, a pinch of sugar, your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, and a hint of love. So let's get started and create two amazing gatas. Let's get started with making our dough. So you are going to need about 3.5 to 4 cups of flour. However, depending on the milk you're using and the type of yogurt you're using, your dough might need more or less. So we might not use the entire 4 cups, and you might use it when you're kneading the dough. Otherwise, you can use the entire thing, but you probably won't. So you will need a sifter. Getting started with our wet ingredients, I've already melted 1 cup of butter, so it becomes like clarified butter basically, or you can use oil. Then I'm gonna be using 1 cup of milk, just pouring it in there. And then you also need 1 cup of plain yogurt. So this is kind of taking the place of that egg. Okay. Give that a quick mix, and we'll be adding in our honey next and our vanilla for the flavoring. And then for the honey, you need 3 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna fill my entire wooden spoon with it and just a little bit more. I do like a little bit of a sweeter bread. Again, this is a substitute. You can also use sugar. Add more. Just give that a mix, and then give our vanilla flavoring. I would say about a tablespoon. Again, depends on your taste, but I do like a lot of flavor. And then a pinch of salt, which is about a teaspoon. Now that we have combined our wet ingredients, it's time to sift in that dry ingredient. Okay, now we are ready to sift in our flour. So I'm just gonna grab my sifter, place it there. And why don't we just combine our soda and our baking powder. So I'll go ahead and add in the 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of the baking soda. Soda will give it that color, so we don't mind it. And just give it a little mix, and this is ready to be sifted by phases. So first cup or first 2 cups combine, and then your last one and possibly your 4th one if you need it. So here we go. Okay, so we have 1 cup And about our second cup. Flour does get messy, so we just got to work around it and just sift it in. Yeah, Gata takes a lot of work, a lot of precision, a lot of patience to get that perfect dough. So here we go. We have our first 2 cups in. We're gonna combine and you'll start seeing the consistency getting thicker and dough-like. It looks like our dough is just about ready. All that's missing is actually taking it out of this bowl, kneading it with our hands, making it really smooth and really workable. The dough itself is so soft in texture. It's not going to be a thick, you know, bread-like dough. It's going to be really elegant and really easy to work with. So let's just get started. Dump all of your dough out onto your surface. I've heard kneading dough is really relaxing, so we'll see. Okay. And we're just gonna knead it. Not too much, we don't wanna overdo it so it doesn't get too rough. We do have to use a sifter every time we add flour. I did forget to mention that. All right, now that we've kneaded this dough for about 4 minutes, as you can see, it's very sticky, very delicate, but that's okay because that flour that we didn't use in our dough came in handy for sifting around and kneading it. So what we're gonna do now is create those cylinder shapes and put them in the fridge just for a little bit to cool down so they're workable and not so sticky. And then we're gonna put them in saran wrap before we do that. So I'm just gonna cut this into 3 equal parts because it looks like I can get 3 doughs out of this. We need 2 individual ones first because that's the one that we're gonna create with that really intricate detail. So we're gonna put 2 aside for our intricate gata. And I'm gonna set 1 aside to make that normal gata. So I'll use this bigger one for that rounded regular gata and these 2 smaller ones for the intricate one. All right, now that we have our doughs into little even cylinder shapes, I'm not gonna lie, kneading dough is difficult. It's frustrating when it's sticky, so that's when you definitely need your flour to come in handy, but you know, it's a learning process and I'm so grateful to be sharing it with you guys. Sorry about my little dog. She might be barking in the background. And now we're gonna cover them and put them in the fridge just until we're ready with our filling. So I'll meet you back in a few minutes. All right, now that I've placed our dough in the fridge for a few minutes, it's time to make our filling. Now, you're no stranger to this filling. It's the exact same recipe as I used for the individual gatas. This time I'm melting the butter so we can get a even more crumbly consistency in our filling. But it's a 1-to-1 ratio with your sugar and your flour, just like last time. And I've already pre-measured 2 cups to 2 cups of flour and sugar. And also that Cognac or Brandy for that additional flavoring, and of course our baking powder and our baking soda just for a hint of flavor. So I'll just go ahead and get started and mix in the sugar. So 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of flour, or 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, or half a teaspoon, I should say. This is a large teaspoon. Okay. And oh, our vanilla. We also need vanilla. So I'll go ahead and drop that in there. As well as that brandy. Cognac, as I should say. I would say about a tablespoon should be enough. And now this, we are going to get in there with our hands because we want to crumble this up. All right, so grab your rolling pin. We're gonna get to work here. I've taken out my 2 doughs that we had put in the fridge, and now I'm going to roll it out into about a 12-inch circular formation. You can go smaller, you can go bigger. It depends on how big your sheet pan is. Mine is about 12 inches, so I might do it a little bit on the smaller side. And then I've just placed my parchment paper so my dough doesn't stick. And we're just going to roll this out. Oh, it's such a beautiful dough. Really, really delicate. Okay, so we have one done. We're gonna work on the second one. And I did move it onto the sheet pan somewhat delicately so I don't ruin the shape, but it is a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. This is no easy feat, but it is definitely rewarding. So we're just gonna move on to our second one and also roll this one out, and this will go on top of the original layer, but first we'll fill it, you know, with that amazing filling. All right, now that we have placed our dough onto the parchment paper and ready for the filling, we also need to use 1 egg where we'll separate the yolk and the white. The white will be used as the glue in order to put on one of the doughs and then to have the other dough come on top of each other and go ahead and glue it. And then the yolk will be used for that beautiful egg wash that will, you know, give us that golden rich Gata color that we all know and love. Let's get started with the egg. So we'll crack it, separate the white first, and then the yolk. And I'll just use my fingers, of course, to get that authentic, real, true Armenian way. And get the egg wash on the sides. All right, my friends, so what we just did is filled the bottom layer, put the egg wash so it can act as a glue. Then we put the other layer on top and just evened it out thoroughly, just so it's a prettier shape, you know, really even. And there is air in here, so we're gonna take care of that by poking holes with a fork, and we're gonna give it a little bit of a decorative piece with a fork, and as well as pinch the sides to get that really pretty intricate detail that I was talking to you guys about earlier. So let's just get started with our intricate detailing first. So what you're gonna wanna do is take your 2 fingers here and, you know, make a fist, and you're just gonna, you know, pinch down and then poke the middle. Oh, it's sticky. So if it's sticky, you just gently go in there. You don't wanna overdo it, and this will give us a really pretty intricate detail. So I'll just go all around and show you this a little bit closer. So what I'm doing now is gently gliding the egg wash onto our Gata. This will be part of the process in making this really golden and really beautiful. I did really try to achieve, you know, and recreate the original recipe, but I do want to state it is a difficult, you know, Gata to do, especially for the first time. So I do recommend practicing this. Honestly, if you're gonna be presenting it for the first time like I am, I should have practiced this, but I really wanted to get that authentic feel and do it for the first time with you guys. I'm not that disappointed. It's just, it could have been more perfect, but I will attempt this again for sure. Set this one aside because I do want to make 2, like I said. We're going to make the simpler one now and pop them in the oven together. So I have that extra dough, which this is going to be much easier, I hope, in making. I've never made this one either. So we're just going to roll it out, fill it with this amazing filling, and egg wash it and bake it. So it shouldn't be too difficult, I hope. And then we're going to need our rolling pin. Now that we have filled it, we're just going to grab it and close it like a little dumpling. And don't worry, because this is going to be our bottom. We just want to make sure it sticks. Okay. And you're just gonna, once again, mold it to make sure it's tightly closed at the bottom so it doesn't open when we're baking it. Just grab it and show you. I'm just clasping all the edges that are open. And then we'll flatten it out and make it pretty. Okay, so the entire bottom part looks closed to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it so I can work the other side. and just flatten it out into the size you want your gata to be in. I'm gonna transfer this onto my baking sheet so I can then do the egg wash. All right, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I have my regular gata, I have my decorative gata, and we're gonna pop them in the oven together. See you in about 35 minutes. Okay, so what I've done is removed my gata out of the oven prematurely because I wanna glaze it with some butter and some honey so we get that sweet hint when we bite into it. So I'm just gonna glaze it really quickly. Okay, and then we're just gonna pop them back in for another, let's say I had 14 more minutes left, so I'll see you back shortly. All right, you guys, the gatas are ready. I can smell the amazing aroma throughout the entire house. I can imagine around the holidays how amazing this would be when you have your guests walk in, you have this cozy, beautiful smell permeating your home. Oh my gosh, they look so cute, you guys. One. She's huge. I didn't poke enough holes. They're really puffing up, so they will go down. We just have to give them the opportunity to cool down. All right, I am ready to cut into this magnificent, ginormous gata. I hope you guys can see what I was trying to achieve with the, pie-like, edges where you used your knuckles. But, again, the more you try it, the better you'll get. So let's just cut into this and see what awaits inside. All right, now I'm excited to try this amazing gata with our amazing filling and let you guys know how it tastes. Oh my God. It's so delicious. It's so sweet, yet not too sweet. That crust is so delicate. And then that filling just hits you with its amazingness. It's so amazing. You guys have to give this recipe a try. I will link it below. Thank you once again for joining me. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Have a good one.